All right, guys, we're back on Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel, previewing Tuesday night's game. You may have heard about it. Kentucky hits the road to play Louisville. Huge matchup here early in the season, one of many, as we know, for the Cats on the non-conference schedule, but maybe the biggest of all, Max Barr, given the rivalry reignited and pretty good Louisville team, as we know, on the other side. Before we get into this matchup, Game Time Sidekicks. If you want to have a nice little beverage while you're watching this game, you can do it out of your Game Time Sidekicks. Officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, every SEC school, over 350 more universities as well. Everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. They got it all. SC16 for 20% off. To our viewers, SC16, 20% off at GameTimeSidekicks.com. All right, Max, injury notes, because that's kind of something that always is meaningful in
Yep.
these kind of games. We know Kentucky got Jalen Lowe back for a little bit against Valpo. That was a big development. Played 18 minutes in that game. We know there's still no JQ, which would obviously be a huge boost in a game like this. But perhaps Max still waiting for someone on the Louisville side too, and maybe makes it a little bit harder to predict exactly what this will look like.
Blake, would it be a Cats preview without a few injury notes? I don't
Always.
think I don't think it's possible. And we do have a big time situation to monitor on the Louisville side. Kashawn Pryor is going to be good to go. First game back, last game, so he's finally good to go. Cards fans love to see that. Kind of 6'10", versatile, do a little bit of everything. Pryor there from South Florida. But Javon Hadley, Blake, the only member last year's squad that started every single game. A bit of Cats fans, if you've seen some Mo D the past two games, kind of that role for this Louisville team. Just not an elite shooter. If you leave him open, he can make one, but he's just gonna do everything for you. The epitome of a glue guy, and which is so important in a game like this against a really deep, talented Kentucky squad. So keep an eye on that Hadley injury. We think he's going to play, but man, Blake, if he does not play, that does change the dynamic for this Cards front court.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't, like you said, be a Kentucky preview, wouldn't be an early season preview without injury unknowns, because I feel like we've had those for almost every game we've done to this point. We're still waiting to see exactly how, again, some of this shakes out, and we just don't know because we're recording, ahead of time for the game and have no clue. I forgot to mention, by the way, Louisville 4.5-point favorite over at our friends at FanDuel, over under 175.5, which is the one I'm most excited about because I do think there will be some points scored in this game. But all right, Max, as we look at this, again, Louisville starts off 2-0, 106.70 over Jackson State, 104.45 over South Carolina State. Again, two teams that are a bit lower in terms of their KenPom rating and such. Kentucky plays 250 Nichols, 77.51, and then 288 Valpo, 107.59. For me, I think just getting Jalen Lowe back was, again, a nice development for the Cats because
Yeah.
we've mentioned the depth of this team. And, I mean, look, it's kind of been put to the test a little bit early on. Still no JQ. Jalen Lowe was out. But still, I think that's going to be the thing. If Kentucky's going to go on the road, find a way to beat an elite Louisville team in what is going to be a fantastic atmosphere, I think having Jalen Lowe back running the show is one of the bigger developments here, just because I think, again, we kind of saw very early, and as you're kind of going into the season, you're thinking, okay, this may actually be the guy. Noah Tagovailoa, is the guy that everybody's going to be focusing on, but Jalen Lowe may be the difference when you talk about these kind of games. And so I'm kind of, again, interested to see now that he's back in the mix, and maybe more than 18 minutes in this game,
Yeah.
how it looks a little bit different for Kentucky.
I was going to say, like, first real game back, like
Yeah.
first taking nothing away from Valpo. But first real test here. One thing, if you want to start with the Kentucky backcourt, one thing that I think that they might be able to take advantage of is some easy points on the road here. Some defense creates offense points. Our guy Brandon Ramsey at KSR pointed this out on his Twitter. Through the two exhibition games and two real games, Louisville's turned it over 61 times. Mikel Brown Jr., the star freshman, who, guys, is just fantastic. he did have 6 turnovers against Jackson State, 9 total in 2 games. They play extremely, extremely fast. One of the fastest offensive tempos you're going to see. There's no way it holds up this fast. It's like 2 or 3 seconds faster than the fastest from last year. They are flying, but that does create some mistakes. And what have we been loving, Blake, about this Cats team? The defense.
Yeah, I mean, again, still top 5. I know it's 2 games, but, again, all these are things that we talked about this summer, in that this Kentucky team was going to look a little bit different than last year's team. And a variety of reasons for that. We mentioned the 3-point shooting, which, luckily got a little bit better in game 2. But we had mentioned kind of in, the exhibition games, game 1, it wasn't pretty, but then they go 11 of 28, in game 2 for 39%. And so I think it's all right. Like, this is a bit of a different matchup in terms of, what you're going to see, I think, long term. It's going to be more defensive focused. Yes, they're still going to have, elite offensive play, but it will come probably a little bit differently than it did previously. And I think that's something to monitor here, right? Because you are going on the road, and it is going to be something where you probably need to knock down some shots from the perimeter, because if you're relying on getting into the lane, maybe getting to the free throw line, which, as you said, Max, probably the better path, I think, for this Kentucky team. If we're looking ahead into March, how are they going to win some of these games? It may just be attack mode for this team. And so will you get some of those kind of calls on the road, and those kind of things start to come into play in games like this? So, yeah, I feel like it is, from my perspective, like, that's how you look at it from the Kentucky side. But look, we got to be honest here. Like, this Louisville team, Max, is, it is such a very, very talented team. And again, we can throw out maybe the first couple results for both teams just because they're playing inferior opponents. But, this is a team that's built to, again, be a Final Four type team this season. And this is, kind of the perfect matchup to see how they go up against a team like Kentucky, who we mentioned is going to be a very tough guard, but it's also going to be the kind of team that's going to, like we said, defensively do some things that feel like they could really disrupt the flow of what is, going to just be an outstanding offensive team this season.
Yeah, and when you look at Louisville, what we said all off season was just this slew of 40-point shooters, right? Just seems like everywhere you go down the roster, they have a career percentage of 40%. Well, hey, Isaac McNeely and Ryan Conwell have filled that bill so far, 41 and 41%. But Woolley, who we thought was going to go to Tuscaloosa this offseason, ends up at Louisville. He hasn't made a shot yet. He's a career 40% guy. Kashawn Pryor hasn't made a shot yet. He's like a career 35% guy. And so you have, and Mikel Brown, the star freshman, he's shooting 33%. So you have this team that's, we thought, the number one strength of the whole roster was their perimeter shooting. If you look at their analytical profile right now through a few games, their top rated, category of anything is their 2-point percentage for Louisville. Not their 3-point, their 2-point percentage has been ultra efficient through 2 games, 71.9%. So this is a team in Kentucky who, man, do we love this defense. And Malachi Moreno has impressed us in every way he possibly could. But it is without its main rim protector, going against a team that through 2 games has been just lights out from inside the arc. So that's Louisville might find their way to some easy offense inside without JQ on the floor.
If you had to pick one player, all right, this is the ultimate X factor in this game, who is it? I feel like I've already given mine. I think it's obviously, to me, I think it's Jalen Lowe. But I think you could also go with, again, someone like a Mo D, who you could, like, if Kentucky goes on the road and wins this game, you're probably going to need some of those, pretty much everything that this guy brings to the table, because he is, as we've said, a pretty versatile player that can impact the game in multiple ways. And I feel like it's, and when I say that, I'm not saying the guy's got to score 20, right? I'm just saying it's some of those type of plays where if they're going to slow down Louisville and be, again, one of the best defensive teams in the country, which we think Kentucky can be, I think he's going to be a very crucial part of this. But maybe for me, it's just Jalen Lowe, because you're going to have to score points to keep up. I'd be surprised, Max. We said the over/under's 175.5. Even as good as defensively we think Kentucky is going to be this season, there's going to be points scored in this game. I'd be shocked if this is 75, 72 or something. Like, I just feel like we're probably looking north of 80. for both of these teams, and I hope that's the case. That means it's going to be an entertaining game, but the rhythm has got to be there offensively in this kind of game. You can't have some of those stretches where, oh man, we just went 4.5 minutes without scoring. You do that on the road against this Louisville team, that could be a problem. So Jalen Lowe is probably the easy choice for me, but I would also throw Mo D in there as another one.
I'll give you one on each team. For Louisville, we haven't mentioned him yet. Connie Ruths, 6'10 sophomore.
Yeah.
He stepped in for Pryor when Pryor was out last year, and got some experience that he wasn't supposed to get entering the season. He's been phenomenal. He looked like a freshman last year when Pryor went out. Got better as the season went along. Ruths has looked great, 20 points, 16 points, and he's really getting in there and in the rebounding, something he wasn't elite at last year. He's been pretty dang good so far. So if Hadley is injured, Pryor is, maybe on some sort of minutes thing coming back. He might not be, but Pryor's working his way back from injury. Ruths right there at 6'10 is going to have his hands full tonight. And then for Kentucky, Denzel Aberdeen, oversized guard at 6'5". You have these sharpshooter, McNeely at 6'4", Conwell at 6'4". You have these outside perimeter sharpshooters for Louisville. Slap Denzel Aberdeen on one of them and just take him out of the game. Just use his size, his defense on the perimeter. Denzel Aberdeen's ability to defend the three and not get absolutely blown by is going to be huge for Kentucky's defense in this one.
Well, and I'll cheat in my own. Pick one player, pick one X factor. Let me give you 3 or 4.
Welcome to the show.
I think the combination of Colin Chandler and Jasper Johnson. I know, again, I think they're going to need outside production here. And those guys, Chandler was 4 of 8 against Valpo. Jasper Johnson was 3 of 4. You remember kind of that flurry of offense Johnson gave them against Purdue. I'm sensing those are the kind of moments you need in games like this. And like I said, I know some people think we're harping a little too much on the shooting for Kentucky, but we talked about it. The data was there this summer, and it does worry you a little bit. Yes, they bounced back in a nice way against Valpo, but this is obviously a different challenge, going on the road and needing shots to fall. So we'll see that path to get there. But all right, what else you got?
Real quick before we get to picks, I got one nugget. Louisville's 3-point attempt rate, so like their percentage of threes compared to other shot attempts, in their first game it was just over 51%, and second game 49%. So basically half of Louisville's offensive shots are from 3. Okay, Kentucky was 41% and 44%. Yeah, it doesn't matter what team has the ball in this game. There's a coin flip chance that's going to be a shot from outside the arc. Just a perimeter offense enjoyer's delight in this one.
Yeah, Louisville took 39 threes in last year's game between these two teams on December 14th. They went 14 of 39 in that game. The Cats went 11 of 21. And to be honest with you, that feels about right to me. I'm like, if Kentucky only shoots 21 threes in this game, and that was kind of a big talking point last year, was they were 62% from 2, and Oweh had 17. But remember, that was the Lamont Butler game where the guy just didn't miss. So you'd love to have one of those from Jalen Lowe here, perhaps. Have a Lamont Butler type game if you're a Kentucky fan, but it may not be easy to do. All right, Max, picks for this one. Does it surprise you that Louisville's a 4.5-point favorite? That number's gone up, hasn't it? So,
it's almost like we've worked together every day for 3 years. So the number opened at 3.5. I was going exactly to the odds. I don't know how you knew that. The number opened at 3.5, and now it's 4.5. So we've gotten it. I was looking at it last night. Didn't do anything. Didn't place anything. Was just window shopping. Okay, it was just window shopping for the Tuesday slate. I see 3.5, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." It's Ken Palm's only got it by 1, but Torbeck's got it by 5. Depending on where you look, it's going to be a little bit different. But this is where the kicker is for me, Blake. Go on our Vegas Sports Information, VSiN, and it shows you the betting splits. 72% of bets, 76% of money on the Cats. But the line's moving in the other direction. Ding, 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 ding. What is going on here? It's called college basketball in the early season, when you've got young players and a team that's been injured going on the road, playing in probably the toughest environment, or one of the toughest that they'll play in all year. Hoping that this works in favor for our SEC fans. I'm going to go Louisville here to take this one.
Again, it's almost like we worked together this long, because you probably knew where I was headed here with this pick because Florida, Arizona, Blake and Max, wrong. Arkansas, Michigan State, Blake and Max, wrong. Alabama, St. John's, Blake and Max, wrong. So at some point we have to reverse this nonsense. I feel like my better play, if again I was a professional bettor, I'm not. We usually just give straight up picks here, and that's what we're gonna do. But the more that number goes up, I am feeling decent about throwing that down on the Cats. But
It's too much.
we're gonna have to see if we can reverse the curse here early on. And I'm going Louisville too because we gotta try to reverse this thing. The Southeastern 16 KOD. We're bringing it into effect for a big game early in the season. But yeah, I just look. It's gonna be a fantastic game. And again, it does. It surprised me a little bit that Louisville it's 4.5. But like you said, those are antennas up on that number going up like that, and all that money's on Kentucky. Yeah, the sharps are out there doing something. So there you go. Our thoughts on Kentucky and Louisville, and longtime Kentucky fans here at the channel will understand our methodology there on those picks. So nonetheless, a great college basketball game early in the season. And if you're so excited about this game, you're like, I just want to go buy some jewelry. Well, that's an interesting first thought to get through. But you can do it with our friends at the Yearly Company, Nashville-based fine jewelry brand built on tradition, designed for meaning. Each piece handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold, natural gemstones, made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle, custom size, so knowing your size, the most important step. If you're a husband out there shopping for the wife, the holiday season is almost here. Get that sizing kit. It's 100% off. It's free over at the Yearly Company SC16 Kit, SC16 Kit, KIT. We'll take 100% off over at checkout, so use that code over at the Yearly Company. And ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. If you're watching this game, some people may need some ROKFORM on both sides. That phone case hopefully doesn't go flying. If it does, it has extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting, SCC25 for 25% off. If you're a Kentucky fan, Louisville fan, doesn't matter. SCC25, 25% off over at ROKFORM.com. We appreciate you guys, as always. And leave your score predictions in the comments. Who's going to win? Kentucky, Louisville, unbelievable game early on. If you're a college basketball fan, what are you doing if you're not watching this game? Should be fantastic. Again, leave your picks in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well. Turn on your notifications. You know we can go live to react to these games. And again, we appreciate you guys watching as always. We'll talk to you soon here at Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.